Tonight, we're making chicken fettuccine Alfredo with a twist. Traditional Alfredo sauce is made with cream and Parmesan cheese, and we'll use them too, but we're adding in chicken stock, Chardonnay wine, and aged white cheddar cheese to give it some extra flavor and creaminess. If you've ever ordered fettuccine Alfredo at a restaurant, chances are it was a little on the bland side. Some restaurants use cheese that is old and not fresh grated. Some use milk instead of cream, and they'll use garlic powder instead of fresh garlic. We'll start with a fresh, boneless, skinless chicken breast, and we'll slice it before we cook it. This ensures that all of the meat is seasoned and brown, and that extra step changes the flavor and the texture. Then we'll make our sauce with butter, extra virgin olive oil, finely chopped and minced yellow onion and garlic, sliced mushrooms, chicken stock, dry white wine, heavy cream, and freshly grated Parmesan Reggiano cheese and aged white cheddar cheese. This recipe is rich and creamy and full of bold and savory flavor. It's not your typical Italian recipe. We're making chicken fettuccine Alfredo with a twist in the kitchen tonight. It's going to be delicious, so stick around and we'll show you how we make it. My name is Mark Phillips. I've been in the food and beverage business for over 30 years. Throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to be in over 10,000 kitchens from around the world. Each week, I travel to a different city and get the opportunity to call on some of the most amazing chefs in the industry. The Kitchen of Chef Mark is a channel dedicated to showing you how you too can make fine dining, restaurant quality food right in your own home. We'll travel together, we'll cook together, and we'll have some fun along the way. Welcome to the Kitchen of Chef Mark. Now let's get cooking. Tonight, we're making a classic Italian entree with a twist. Chicken fettuccine Alfredo. Boneless, skinless chicken breast, pan-seared in extra virgin olive oil and butter with an Alfredo sauce made from yellow onion, garlic, mushrooms, Parmesan cheese, and heavy cream. We're adding a cup of Chardonnay wine for some zing, chicken stock for our savory, and aged white cheddar cheese for additional flavor and creaminess. We'll plate this delicious recipe with linguine imported from Italy and then garnish it with fresh chopped parsley and bold red paprika for color. Our mise en place for tonight's dish is, for the chicken, 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, salt, pepper, and paprika, 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. For the Alfredo sauce, 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 small yellow onion chopped and minced, 12 ounces of sliced white mushrooms, 4 cloves of garlic chopped and minced, salt, pepper, and Italian herb seasoning, 1 cup of chicken stock, 1 cup of dry white wine, 1½ cups of heavy cream, the juice of 1 fresh lemon, 1/2 cup of Parmesan Reggiano cheese, 1/2 cup of aged white cheddar cheese, and 4 sprigs of fresh chopped parsley. And for the pasta, 1 box of linguine. You can use fettuccine if you want it to be traditional. In a large pot, add water and salt. We're adding a tablespoon of turmeric, which will give some color to the linguine. Bring the pot of water to a boil. We'll cook the chicken first. Add the olive oil and butter to a large stainless steel pan and turn the heat to medium. Season the chicken with salt, pepper, and paprika. The paprika is going to give the dish some bold color as it cooks. Add the chicken to the pan and ensure that each piece is touching the bottom of the pan. Check for seasoning. Add more salt, pepper, and paprika if there's any missing. Cook for 6 to 7 minutes. Then flip the chicken over and cook on the other side for an additional 6 to 7 minutes. Again, make sure that each piece of chicken is touching the pan. We want the chicken to brown and not steam. Give the chicken a nice stir to ensure that all of the seasonings are mixed in thoroughly, and then put the cooked chicken into a bowl and set it aside. Next, we'll begin to make the Alfredo sauce. Drain the juices from the pan and save them in a cup. We'll use this juice later when we add the other liquids, as there's a lot of flavor in these juices. Add butter and olive oil to the pan on medium heat. The onions go in first. Spread the onions so that all of them are touching the bottom of the pan so that they brown. Cook the onions for a minute or two and then add in the mushrooms. Spread them out and cook the onions and mushrooms together for about 10 minutes to allow them to get browned too. Season the onions and mushrooms with salt and pepper to your taste. Mushrooms have a lot of moisture, so stir them occasionally to allow the moisture to dissipate. This will also help the browning process. Once the mushrooms and onions have browned, we'll add in the garlic. Create a space in the middle of the onions and mushrooms. Add in butter and olive oil, and then the minced garlic. Saute the garlic for about a minute. As soon as you can start to smell the fragrance of the garlic, stir it into the onions and mushrooms. Remember that garlic burns easily, so never cook it more than a minute or two by itself. Next, we'll add in the wine. And I wanted to take a quick minute to talk about the wine that we're using today. This is Bay Bridge Chardonnay, and you can get it at Kroger. In my opinion, this is probably the best value in the entire store. This bottle of Chardonnay only costs $2.99 a bottle, and it's been $2.99 a bottle for years. They did not raise the price after the pandemic. Now, there's a saying that you get what you pay for, and most cheap wines are awful, but this wine is actually really good. Another principle that we learned in culinary training is that you should never cook with a wine that you're not willing to drink by itself. If a wine tastes bad when you're drinking it, then it'll make your food taste bad too. Well, this is actually a pretty decent wine to drink by itself, and it comes from a vineyard in California. Most expensive Chardonnays are aged in oak barrels. That adds flavor, but it also adds cost. So my guess is that this wine is not aged in a barrel. Rather, it's bottled as soon as it's made. But the grapes that they use and the fermented wine that comes from it is the best value in the market, and it's perfect for cooking. We keep 3 or 4 bottles in the refrigerator at all times. After you add in the wine, raise the heat to medium-high. We want the wine to reduce. Then add in the chicken stock, the cup of chicken juices that we drained from the chicken earlier, squeeze in the fresh lemon juice, add in the heavy cream and the chopped parsley, and give the sauce a nice stir. Keep the heat on medium-high for about 10 minutes to let the sauce reduce and thicken. And notice the beautiful colors coming out in the sauce. Next, we'll add the chicken back into the sauce. Stir the chicken into the sauce so that all of the pieces are coated thoroughly. Time to get our linguine going. Make sure that your pot of water is boiling rapidly and add the linguine into the water. A quick note here, some people add oil into the water. We would advise not to add oil because it will cause the sauce not to stick to the pasta. Also, don't break the linguine in half. Allow it to soften naturally. We want the noodles to be long so that we can swirl them later when we plate the dish. As a final step, we'll add in the Parmesan cheese and the aged white cheddar cheese. Stir the cheeses into the sauce and turn off the heat. Add the linguine into the sauce, and it's okay if some of the water gets into the sauce. This will actually add to the flavor, and that's why we're not draining it into a colander. Stir the linguine into the chicken and sauce, and you're ready to serve your guests. And now it's time to plate our dish. And there it is, chicken fettuccine Alfredo with a twist. This classic Italian entree with added ingredients of Chardonnay wine, chicken stock, and aged white cheddar cheese. Look at that beautiful color in this dish. Bold red paprika, fresh green chopped parsley, and turmeric in our pasta water to give the linguine a wonderful yellow glow. Rich and creamy, this chicken fettuccine Alfredo is the best tasting recipe that you'll ever have. It was delicious. Until next time, bon appetit.